Hello everyone, Pulse here, and welcome to another episode of Pulse Impressions. In today's episode, we will be taking a look at a greenlight title by the name of SkyLands. Now, I was just browsing through the list of newly submitted greenlight titles, and this one kind of caught my eye. It said it was this 3D platformer, and it was kind of vague, but I looked into it and I found that there was a playable demo or pre-release kind of tasting, if you will, and downloaded it, and I've played it 2 times now, and I figured I would go through on this 3rd time with you guys and kind of just give my thoughts after really giving it some thought about what I see with this game and what they could be going for and its potential if this is a game that does get greenlit and they are given enough support to take this project further. So let's just dive right into SkyLands. To start off, this game is, let me say, abstract. Okay, it's not. They don't make it very obvious what the point of the game is in terms of story, but as you saw there with the text at the beginning, it seems to be that you're playing this girl who is I guess going for her family maybe, or tracking someone down, and it's conveyed in this way that makes me think that they are going for kind of this underlying emotional experience, but as I said, it's very abstract. Right from the start, it's very abstract. We see this girl who is in this really wacky vulture suit of some sort. We don't get any explanation as to what that is. This is a fairly short demo, to say the least. But I guess I'll get into the game mechanics first, and then I will kind of, as the gameplay progresses towards its conclusion, I will start to really dissolve my discussion into more about what I think the actual game is about. But first off, let's start with the jumping and the movement. This is a game that's labeled as a platformer. However, I'm finding it hard to label it that way myself. I feel like more that this is an adventure game in its like most basic, really. The jumping is pretty basic, pretty archaic stuff. There's a sprint mechanic in place, which we'll see a little bit later. You can't move while using it. But the jumping, I mean, it gets the job done, but it's not, I don't know, it's not as fluid. I mean, like, if you push and then hold over, you kind of do this weird staggered fall thing. Okay, and see, and that was what I'm talking about. The memories maybe are what's talking to her and helping her remember how to get through these levels. And that's kind of your tutorial here. And she's just saying you just jump and then you hit space again and you fly through the air and then you land. The landing is a little bit weird. It seems more like crashing every time. I can't seem to get it to land at all, so I'm assuming that the intention is you do like that barrel roll thing, but it looks a little wonky, but that's okay. This is a game that's fairly early in its development, I would imagine, and needs as much support as it can get to go further. Now, this part was something I didn't expect, to be completely frank. The first time I came through it, I went straight from there. I jumped, I hit space again, and I kept crashing into that wall and falling, and I was like, what the hell is going on? There's 2 reasons for this. 1, I seriously had low expectations for this. 2 is, as you can see now, the windmills have this swirling glow effect which says hit me or interact with me, very obvious. Well, the first time I played this, there was none of that, and there was none of this either, which I will show, is this sort of wind tunnel effect. I could do the ability, but there was no sort of animation or particle effect of any kind to show that I had actually succeeded in doing that. But the idea was that you're supposed to come over here and you activate this wind tunnel to propel these forward, and when you hit both of them it gives you this wind tunnel. Very basic stuff, but it means that there's potential for problem solving and puzzle aspects in this game, which I think it would do well with, because we'll see a little bit later that there's some spots where maybe they're trying to show what challenge could be in this game, but we're never quite given it. Let me see. I'm not really sure what these shrines are all about, other than they must be in a very Zelda style, like hit me and progress the level to a point that you can actually get past it now kind of thing. And I actually find that after recording for the second and third time trying to get this perfect for you guys, that I'm finding Legend of Zelda coming into my mind quite a lot, which is a little bit scary considering that this game is completely different from that one. What really makes me think about that game is the way that you progress through the level by finding the thing, or finding the switch, or in this case the statue, the shrine up there, and it progresses the level. But more so is this kind of silent protagonist thing going on, I think is got to be part of it. But I'll continue on with the actual game here for a moment before I get distracted. Here's the sprint mechanic. I'll actually stop before I leap off and show you again. If you go back and I don't know if you guys can hear, but if you hit back and forth on your keys, which would normally be turning, you actually can't do it with the sprint activated. And at first, I found this incredibly frustrating, and I have to admit, I was like, what in the hell? Why can you not do this? This seems basic stuff. But then I realized that this is completely intentional, okay? What they have obviously done, and it took me a while to realize what they were going for, is they don't want sprint to be a way to sort of cheese the system and propel your way past obstacles you normally couldn't. And I feel that because of the way that this game is going for a take your time and breathe it all in kind of approach, which leads me to believe that this is a game not about challenge itself, but more about the emotion that you can feel while the music and the memories are flooding back and all of that sort of thing. But we'll continue on, and see, this is what I mean. There's no challenge here. They try to offer this platforming, and again, I have to stress that this is a very kind of early build. This is just a taste of what the game could be, and there's a potential for challenge there. But we're just not given it. I keep saying that in this. We're just not provided any challenge of really any sort. One of the things, though, I do find myself enjoying, and I can't quite figure out why exactly, because I know deep down that it should be boring to me. It must be that I really just have this love of flight or something that I've never quite realized. Because even though there's no challenge, there's no obstacles given for the most part here, I'm finding the flight alongside the music is enough to have me engaged to the point that I want to keep going forward and finding out what's more. I don't know, perhaps that's a weird taste thing coming on, but I don't know. I'm really enjoying the actual flight part of this. It controls fairly well. Okay, let me aim up here. I think this is the first time the cannon has come into play during this video. And then here's another part where we could have seen challenge, but we're not quite given it, and it means to me that there could be challenging obstacles in the future. Mainly, what I can foresee happening is that like speed boost mechanic we've seen with the orbs coming into play with the ability to do this sort of wind tunnel effect in the air, which you can do, and I believe you only do it one time during the actual gameplay demo here. But the idea for me is that they can utilize these orbs that provide a speed boost and give you pretty complicated flight paths, and therefore give you sort of a mix of the flight that they've done pretty well alongside the puzzling aspects that are kind of here in a very light format. It's hard to say which way they'll go, because I have a theory about this game being a mostly emotional driven game in the same vein as, say, Journey, or I keep finding myself thinking back to like Shadow of the Colossus and Ico, where those games are very driven by this kind of underlying emotional response, and I feel like that's what they're going for in the development of this. Oh, there we go. Landed kind of on my ass. We'll just keep going forward here. But yeah, there's not a lot to this game. I mean, it's a fairly short demo within itself, but I keep finding myself enjoying it, even though I've played through this 3 times. It's not super boring to me. It's actually quite. It's hard to say fun because it's not fun in the traditional sense, but it definitely has piqued my curiosity to the point that I really hope this game gets greenlit and I can see more, because the ending is very cliffhangery. We'll see that here in just a couple minutes. Oh, Jesus. Well, I've fallen. I don't think I can get back up. I'll try something shady here. Can I, like, dive bomb? Nope, nothing. Okay. Well, I'll just dive into the toilet. Apologies about that. My goodness, losing my voice. Lovely. But, as you can see, guys, the game is low on the platforming bits, which it claims to be a platformer, but I'm not convinced of that really in the slightest at this point. And again, here's another portion. I keep coming back to this, that the potential for challenges there, like they even give you the sort of epic, quick-tempoed music while you're flying through these potentially hazardous boulders. I've actually not been hit by one, but the idea is that they could provide challenge, and these cannons, which have the worst aim ever, could be another obstacle that would be commonly placed throughout the travels of this girl and you, the player. It's just, I don't know, maybe they need to extend the difficulty out a little bit, because I really foresee that some people won't quite understand the underlying emotional senses that they're intending to give you. Because I really feel that's what's going on here. And there's a couple reasons for that, because we'll see here in just a second. After this goes, it'll turn down the music, or at least it usually does, yeah. Now, there's this bit with the platforms here, and this is kind of lead me into this pretty much a full-on talk about what I feel they're going for with the game. These platforms to start off with is one of the things I noticed on my first playthrough, and then on my second, I realized kind of what they were going for with them. We're given these very slowly moving platforms, okay? And they're quite frustrating from a platform gameplay style, and they didn't make much sense to me at first. But on my second playthrough, I realized, especially because there's a part where the platforms move significantly quicker a little bit later on, and I quite realized that what's going on here is they fully intend for you to take multiple moments to embrace that sight of the spire in the background. And that's one of the first clues to me that they weren't going for challenge. They were going for more of this abstract narrative, which is about emotion, or at least a curious drive to see what's further. Let's see here, this little mechanic here. Not a lot to it. You're just supposed to sprint on the thing and jump and then activate this. And it's another one of those things where the potential for challenge, especially embracing this idea of flight and activating these wind tunnels to continue flight, because you actually cannot fly, you simply glide. And as you see, that's the only way we can propel ourselves forward into the level and towards the spire in the sky. But there's just, it's hard to say how I feel about this game, because part of me, in the hardcore part of me, says this isn't a game and it's not something I should enjoy. But when I play this, I fully feel myself immersed in this idea of propelling myself and this little girl towards the conclusion of this story and finding out what these memories are about, who and what is it I'm after, why are we separated in the first place. There's so many questions, and it's just, I don't know, it's intriguing to me, maybe because I have not played a lot of games that are like this, where at least not in a very long time have I played a game, oh, for goodness sake, camera, don't be stupid. But I haven't played a game like this where the idea seems to be wholly on a more slow-paced and emotional-driven experience based solely on music and this sense of solitude and silence that's going on, because the only things that you hear talking are presumably your own memories of things that have occurred in the past. Oh, dive please for it. Oh no, yeah, thank God for that. That could have gone awfully. But we'll see here in a little bit. One of the things that another clue to me that they were going for more of this emotional experience, and that ties into that golem we just passed a little bit further, or a little bit earlier. My goodness, horrible sentence structure today. Here's the platforms. This is what like clued me off to the other platforms being intentionally slow, because the programmers obviously know how to make very quick, my goodness, very quick moving platforms. And so because it was such a significant difference in their speed and how they move, I really was curious, and I gave it some thought, and when I came through the second time, I was like, well, wait a minute, that's why you can, this is maybe the first real glimpse of the tower that you get. Is that what's going on here? And I'm pretty sure that's what their intention was with that, is they want you to really get your first glimpse of a full tower, because you can see it from the very beginning, but you can't quite see the whole thing. And then here's another one where they deliberately put you up a little bit higher than where you need to go, and then they give you this full view with the lights and all of its spinning structures and all of these things that make this tower intriguing, and then they want you to continue forward toward it. It seems logical to me, but I can't say that I've played a lot of games which deliberately provide this sense of wonder, I guess is what they're going for. Well, okay, maybe they made that a little bit too hardcore with the wonder. We got it. It's a golem. He's a little bit interesting. He's out of place here. But we see there's this. See, this is the part where I was talking about the emotional and kind of you feel tied down to these characters, because the golem doesn't come out and attack you. He's saying, "Follow me," and he gave a bow, and so he seems friendly, and he also seems like an essential part to going forward. You need help, and he's going to provide it to you. And you'll actually see he does that in a substantial way by breaking off and lifting this island somehow. But as we proceed higher into the sky, if I could turn around. Oh, lovely. Don't bug out with me now, please. Okay, thank goodness for that. But as we continue higher into the sky, you can see here the character is kind of being pushed back by the wind tunnel here, and the golem is the way forward. He is providing enough wind resistance that you are not blown off your feet, and you'll see that come to play a little bit later, where he like has to stand to the side. I believe it's actually the platform after this, and it took me a minute to realize that this was the mechanics. So you see that wall off on the right side. It's glowing now, as I mentioned earlier. The glow was not something I had gotten the first time through, and I kind of wish that it wasn't there, because it would maybe provide that sense of puzzle doing or thoughtfulness that you need to do to give that sense of like almost a challenge, I guess, in this case. But it's okay. It's, as I keep saying, this is a very early build. It's a demo. This is not the full game. This is not all we can expect, and I would have to imagine this is like a very early level, a very early stage of where you're given kind of your tutorials and all that stuff, which we were provided much earlier. Now this part, this is nearing the end here, but as you've seen and maybe heard with the text there, she very clearly states that this golem is her friend, and the two of them ventured forward past the wind tunnel. It's kind of recapping their struggle, because it goes quickly for us the player, but the idea is maybe that this wasn't so easy for them, and they're reaffirming that it was a challenge to overcome. And then here we have the golem. It's obvious now, but it wasn't, again, with the sparkly things missing, that you were supposed to go up. And the idea is that he's going to throw you up to the top of this tower, and you're going to pretty much put all your faith in his hand, quite literally. And as you'll see, he's going to launch us up, and I'm hoping it's not going to bug, because this is the part that bugged last time, but everything seems to be going according to plan. You give this golem a nod, and you pretty much confirm with him that this is what you want for him to do, and sure as hell he throws you up and up into the tower. And then here's the real sense of potential challenge again coming into. This is by far the most challenging part, not because it's terribly difficult, but I say as I run into stuff, but because this is providing that sense of epicness that has been missing from the rest of the game for the most part, and they've really been driving towards this climax, I feel. Gotta dodge here and dodge here, and this is part of the game that I feel like they should have focused on instead of labeling this a platformer, because to me this is like a air adventure where the idea is more about getting to where you need to go based on these wind tunnels. I suppose that you could classify that as platformer, and that's why they've labeled it as such. But as we see here at the very end, she's met up with her brother, it would seem. We don't get any cinematic finish here, so maybe this is a memory as well. And it's all about that sense of curiosity, I feel. And that's pretty much all there is to the game, as we'll see. It's coming out with the credits, and we're going to get a full kind of run by of what the level was that we just completed there. But this is a game I want you guys to take a look at it, because it's something I honestly went in with really low expectations about, and I found myself really driven to give this game a fair showing, I want to say, because there's a ton of really shitty games that people put on Steam Greenlight, and there's lots of flaws to the Steam Greenlight system, which a lot of people have already argued about, and it's not something I'm going to go into hardcore with you here, but there's a lot of flaws with that system, and a lot of games that are good and are carrying around a potential to actually give us something nice, like this game, are completely overshadowed by shit a lot of times. So I wanted to let you guys know about this game, and even though it's a short demo, it's a pretty engaging experience in my opinion. I mean, it's hard to say that this is a game, a full-on game, because we are not given any challenge in the traditional sense. However, the curiosity that I feel about this game, and the potential for this little girl venturing around in this abstract world, providing an emotional response by the way that she gets her memories, and there's such this isolationism going on, and the music paired fairly well, in my opinion, with it all. It makes for a pleasant experience. It's not fun in the traditional sense, but it's definitely pleasant and something I would recommend. So guys, as this kind of winds down to the end here, this has been Pulse doing a Pulse Impressions on SkyLands, and just make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Make sure to check out the Greenlight page. I'll have a link down in the description, and thanks for watching. Stick to Nova Pulse Gaming YouTube channel for everything that is indie, playthrough, let's plays, pretty much anything that you would expect from me going forward is going to be a really branching amount of content now that I've kind of figured out some things with editing and whatnot. So again, guys, this has been Pulse. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.